Welcome to this spiritual journey through the Bhagavad Gita. In this series, we will explore chapters 1 to 7, where Lord Krishna reveals powerful wisdom about life, duty, self-control, and the true purpose of our existence. Each part will cover one chapter, explained in a simple and meaningful way so you can understand how these teachings can guide you in real life. So let's begin this journey of knowledge and inner transformation. This is part 1.
Dhritarashtra, ranged thus for battle on the sacred plain. On Kurukshetra say, Sanjay. Say, what wrought my people and the Pandavas? Sanjay, when he beheld the host of Pandavas, Raja Duryodhan to Drona drew, and spake these words, Ah, Guru. See this line. How vast it is of Pandu fighting men, embattled by the son of Drupad, thy scholar in the war. Therein stand ranked chiefs like Arjuna, like to Bhima chiefs, benders of bows, Virata, Yuyudhan, Drupad eminent upon his car, Dhrishtaket, Chekitan, Kashi's stout lord, Purujit, Kuntibhoj, and Savya, with Yudhamanyu and Uttamaj, Subhadra's child and Drupadi's, all famed, all mounted on their shining chariots. On our side, too, thou best of Brahmins. See, excellent chiefs, commanders of my line, whose names I joy to count, thyself the first. Then Bhishma, Karna, Kripa fears in fight. Vikarn, Aswathaman next to these. Strong Somdatti, with full many more. Valiant and tried, ready this day to die. For me their king, each with his weapon grasped. Each skillful in the field. Weakest meseems. Our battle shows where Bhishma holds command. And Bhima, fronting him, something too strong. Have care our captains nigh to Bhishma's ranks. Prepare what help they may. Now, blow my shell. Then, at the signal of the aged king, with blare to wake the blood, rolling around. Like to a lion's roar, the trumpeter blew the great conch, and at the noise of it, trumpets and drums, cymbals and gongs and horns, burst into sudden clamor as the blasts of loosened tempest, such the tumult seemed. Then might be seen, upon their car of gold, yoked with white steeds, blowing their battle shells, Krishna the god, Arjuna at his side. Krishna, with knotted locks, blew his great conch. Carved of the giant's bone, Arjuna blew. Indra's loud gift, Bhima the terrible. Wolf-bellied Bhima blew a long reed conch. And Yudhishthira, Kunti's blameless son, winded a mighty shell, victory's voice. And Nakula blew shrill upon his conch, named the sweet-sounding Sahadev on his, called Jambedict, and Kashi's prince on his, Sikhandi on his car, Dhrishtadyumna, Virata, Satyaki the unsubdued, Drupad with his sons, O Lord of earth. Long-armed Subhadra's children, all blew loud, so that the clangor shook their foemen's hearts, with quaking earth and thundering heaven. Then 'twas, beholding Dhritarashtra's battle set, weapons unsheathing, bows drawn forth, the war. Instant to break Arjun, whose ensign badge was Hanuman the monkey, spake this thing to Krishna the divine, his charioteer. Drive, dauntless one, to yonder open ground. Betwixt the armies, I would see more nigh. These who will fight with us, those we must slay. Today, in war's arbitrament, for sure. On bloodshed all are bent who throng this plain, obeying Dhritarashtra's sinful son. Thus by Arjuna prayed, O Bharat. Between the hosts that heavenly charioteer drove the bright car, reining its milk-white steeds, where Bhishma led, and Drona, and their lords. See, spake he to Arjuna, where they stand, thy kindred of the Kurus, and the prince, marked on each hand the kinsmen of his house, grandsires and sires, uncles and brothers and sons, cousins and sons-in-law and nephews, mixed, with friends and honored elders, some this side, some that side ranged, and seeing those opposed, such kith grown enemies Arjuna's heart melted with pity while he uttered this. Arjuna, Krishna, as I behold, come here to shed their common blood, yon concourse of our kin. My members fail, my tongue dries in my mouth. A shudder thrills my body, and my hair bristles with horror, from my weak hand slips. Gandiv, the goodly bow, a fever burns. My skin to parching, hardly may I stand. The life within me seems to swim and faint. Nothing do I foresee save woe and wail. It is not good, O Keshav. Not of good. Can spring from mutual slaughter. Lo, I hate triumph and domination, wealth and ease, thus sadly won. Aho! What victory can bring delight, Govinda? What rich spoils could profit, what rule recompense, what span of life itself seems sweet, bought with such blood? Seeing that these stand here, ready to die, for whose sake life was fair, and pleasure pleased, and power grew precious, grandsires, sires, and sons, brothers and fathers-in-law, and sons-in-law, elders and friends. Shall I deal death on these, even though they seek to slay us? Not one blow, O Madhusudan, will I strike to gain the rule of all three worlds, then how much less to seize an earthly kingdom? Killing these must breed but anguish, Krishna. If they be guilty, we shall grow guilty by their deaths. Their sins will light on us, if we shall slay those sons of Dhritarashtra and our kin. What peace could come of that, O Madhva? For if indeed, blinded by lust and wrath, these cannot see, or will not see, the sin of kingly lines overthrown and kinsmen slain, how should not we, who see, shun such a crime? We who perceive the guilt and feel the shame. O thou delight of men, Janardana, by overthrow of houses perisheth their sweet continuous household piety, and rights neglected, piety extinct, enters impiety upon that home. Its women grow unwomaned, whence there spring mad passions, and the mingling up of castes, sending a hellward road that family, and whoso wrought its doom by wicked wrath. Nay, and the souls of honored ancestors fall from their place of peace, being bereft of funeral cakes and the wan death water. FN number 1. So teach our holy hymns. Thus, if we slay kinsfolk and friends for love of earthly power, ahovat, what an evil fault it were. Better I deem it, if my kinsmen strike, to face them weaponless, and bare my breast to shaft and spear, than answer blow with blow. So speaking, in the face of those two hosts, Arjuna sunk upon his chariot seat, and let fall bow and arrows, sick at heart. Here ENDETH Chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita, entitled Arjun Vishad, or the Book of the Distress of Arjuna. Chapter 2. Sanjay. Him, filled with such compassion and such grief, with eyes tear-dimmed, despondent, in stern words, the driver, Madhusudan, thus addressed: Krishna, how hath this weakness taken thee? Whence springs the inglorious trouble, shameful to the brave, bearing the path of virtue? Nay, Arjun, forbid thyself to feebleness. It mars thy warrior name. Cast off the coward fit. Wake, be thyself. Arise, scourge of thy foes. Arjuna, how can I, in the battle, shoot with shafts on Bhishma or on Drona, thou chief? Both worshipful, both honorable men. Better to live on beggar's bread, with those we love alive, than taste their blood in rich feasts spread, and guiltily survive. Ah! Were it worse, who knows, to be victor or vanquished here, when those confront us angrily, whose death leaves living drear, in pity lost, by doubtings tossed. My thoughts distracted turn to thee, the guide I reverence most, that I may counsel learn. I know not what would heal the grief burned into soul and sense, if I were earth's unchallenged chief, a god and these gone thence. Sanjay. So spake Arjuna to the Lord of Hearts, and sighing, I will not fight, held silence then. To whom, with tender smile, O Bharat, while the prince wept despairing twixt those hosts, Krishna made answer in divinest verse: Krishna, thou grievest where no grief should be. Thou speaksint words lacking wisdom for the wise in heart. Mourn not for those that live, nor those that die, nor I, nor thou, nor any one of these. Ever was not, nor ever will not be. For ever and for ever afterwards. All that doth live, lives always. To man's frame. As there come infancy and youth and age. So come there raisings up and layings down. Of other and of other life abodes, which the wise know, and fear not. This that irks thy sense life, thrilling to the elements, bringing the heat and cold, sorrows and joys. 'Tis brief and mutable. Bear with it, prince, as the wise bear. The soul which is not moved, the soul that with a strong and constant calm takes sorrow and takes joy indifferently, lives in the life undying. That which is can never cease to be, that which is not will not exist. To see this truth of both is theirs who part essence from accident, substance from shadow, indestructible. Learn thou. The life is spreading life through all. It cannot anywhere, by any means, be anywise diminished, stayed, or changed. But for these fleeting frames which it informs, with spirit deathless, endless, infinite, they perish. Let them perish, prince, and fight. He who shall say, Lo, I have slain a man. He who shall think, Lo, I am slain, those both. No, not. Life cannot slay. Life is not slain. Never the spirit was born, the spirit shall cease to be never. Never was time, it was not, end and beginning are dreams. Birthless and deathless and changeless remaineth the spirit for ever. Death hath not touched it at all, dead though the house of it seems. Who knoweth it exhaustless, self-sustained, immortal, indestructible, shall such say, I have killed a man, or caused to kill. Nay, but as when one lieth, his worn-out robes away, and taking new ones, sigheth, these will I wear today. So putteth by the Spirit lightly its garb of flesh, and pus sate to inherit a residence afresh. Flame burns it not, waters cannot overwhelm, nor dry winds wither it. Impenetrable, unentered, unassailed, unharmed, untouched, immortal, all-arriving, stable, sure, invisible, ineffable, by word and thought uncompassed, ever all itself. Thus is the soul declared. How wilt thou, then, knowing it so, grieve when thou shouldst not grieve? How, if thou hearest that the man newed is, like the man newborn, still living man? One saying, existent spirit, wilt thou weep? The end of birth is death, the end of death is birth, this is ordained. And mournest thou, chief of the stalwart arm, for what befalls, which could not otherwise befall? The birth of living things comes unperceived, the death comes unperceived, between them beings perceive. What is there sorrowful herein, dear prince? Wonderful, wistful, to contemplate, difficult, doubtful, to speak upon, strange and great for tongue to relate, mystical hearing for every one. Nor wotteth man this, what a marvel it is, when seeing, and saying, and hearing are done. This life within all living things, my prince, hides beyond harm. Scorn thou to suffer, then, for that which cannot suffer. Do thy part. Be mindful of thy name, and tremble not. Not better can betide a martial soul than lawful war. Happy the warrior, to whom comes joy of battle, comes, as now, glorious and fair, unsought, opening for him a gateway unto heaven. But if thou shunsest this honorable field, Kshatriya, if, knowing thy duty and thy task, thou bidest duty and task go by, that shall be sin, and those to come shall speak the infamy. From age to age, but infamy is worse for men of noble blood to bear than death. The chiefs upon their battle chariots will deem 'twas fear that drove thee from the fray. Of those who held the mighty soul the scorn thou must abide, while all thine enemies will scatter bitter speech of thee to mock the valor which thou hadst. What fate could fall more grievously than this? Either being killed, thou wilt win Swarga's safety, or alive and victor thou wilt reign an earthly king. Therefore arise, thou son of Kunti. Brace thine arm for conflict, nerve thy heart to meet. As things alike to thee pleasure or pain, profit or ruin, victory or defeat. So minded, gird thee to the fight, for so thou shalt not sin. Thus far I speak to thee, as from the Sankhya unspiritually. Hear now the deeper teaching of the Yoga, which holding, understanding, thou shalt burst thy karmabandh, the bondage of wrought deeds. Here shall no end be hindered, no hope marred, no loss be feared, faith yea, a little faith shall save thee from the anguish of thy dread. Here, glory of the Kurus, shines one rule, one steadfast rule while shifting souls have laws, many and hard, specious but wrongful deem, the speech of those ill-taught ones who extol the letter of their Vedas, saying, this is all we have, or need, being weak at heart, with wants, seekers of heaven, which comes, they say, as fruit of good deeds done, promising men much profit in new births for works of faith, in various rites abounding, following whereon large merit shall accrue towards wealth and power, albeit who wealth and power do most desire, least fixity of soul have such, least hold on heavenly meditation. Much these teach from Veds concerning the three qualities. But thou, be free of the three qualities, free of the pairs of opposites, FN number 2, and free from that sad righteousness which calculates. Self-ruled Arjuna. Simple, satisfied, FN number 3. Look, like as when a tank pours water forth to suit all needs, so do these Brahmins draw text for all wants from tank of holy writ. But thou, want not, ask not, find full reward of doing right in right. Let right deeds be thy motive, not the fruit which comes from them. And live in action. Labor. Make thine acts thy piety, casting all self aside. Contemning gain and merit equable. In good or evil, equability. Is yoga, is piety, yet the right act is less, far less, than the right thinking mind. Seek refuge in thy soul, have there thy heaven. Scorn them that follow virtue for her gifts. The mind of pure devotion even here casts equally aside good deeds and bad, passing above them unto pure devotion. Devote thyself with perfect meditation. Comes perfect act, and the right-hearted rise. More certainly because they seek no gain. Forth from the bands of body, step by step, to highest seats of bliss. When thy firm soul hath shaken off those tangled oracles, which ignorantly guide, then shall it soar to high neglect of what's denied or said, this way or that way, in doctrinal writ. Troubled no longer by the priestly lore, safe shall it live, and sure, steadfastly bent on meditation. This is yoga and peace. Arjuna, what is his mark who hath that steadfast heart, confirmed in holy meditation? How know we his speech, Kesva? Sits he, moves he, like other men. Krishna, when one, O Pritha's son, abandoning desires which shake the mind, finds in his soul full comfort for his soul, he hath attained the yoga that man is such, in sorrows not dejected, and in joys not overjoyed, dwelling outside the stress of passion, fear, and anger, fixed in calms of lofty contemplation, such an one is Muni, is the sage, the true recluse, he who to none and nowhere overbound by ties of flesh takes evil things and good, neither desponding nor exulting, such bears wisdom's plainest mark. He who shall draw, as the wise tortoise draws its 4 feet safe under its shield, his 5 frail senses back, under the spirit's buckler from the world, which else assails them, such an one, my prince,
hath wisdom's mark. Things that solicit sense hold off from the self-governed, nay, it comes. The appetites of him who lives beyond depart, aroused no more. Yet may it chance, O son of Kunti, that a governed mind shall sometime feel the sense storms sweep, and rest. Strong self-control by the roots. Let him regain his kingdom. Let him conquer this, and sit on me intent. That man alone is wise, who keeps the mastery of himself. If one ponders on objects of the sense, there springs attraction, from attraction grows desire. Desire flames to fierce passion, passion breeds recklessness, then the memorial betrayed. Lets noble purpose go, and saps the mind. Till purpose, mind, and man are all undone. But if one deals with objects of the sense, not loving and not hating, making them serve his free soul, which rests serenely Lord. Lo, such a man comes to tranquility, and out of that tranquility shall rise the end and healing of his earthly pains. Since the will governed sets the soul at peace, the soul of the ungoverned is not his, nor hath he knowledge of himself which lacked. How grows serenity? And, wanting that, whence shall he hope for happiness? The mind that gives itself to follow shows of sense seeth its hem of wisdom rent away, and like a ship in waves of whirlwind drives to wreck and death. Only with him, great prince, whose senses are not swayed by things of sense, only with him who holds his mastery, shows wisdom perfect. What is midnight gloom? To unenlightened souls shines wakeful day. To his clear gaze, what seems as wakeful day is known for night, thick night of ignorance. To his true-seeing eyes, such is the saint.
And like the ocean, day by day receiving floods from all lands, which never overflows, its boundary line not leaping and not leaving, fed by the rivers, but unswelled by those dash. So is the perfect one. To his soul's ocean, the world of sense pours streams of witchery. They leave him as they find, without commotion, taking their tribute but remaining sea. Yea, whoso, shaking off the yoke of flesh, life's lord, not servant of his lusts, set free from pride, from passion, from the sin of self, toucheth tranquility. O Pritha's son, that is the state of Brahm. There rests no dread. When that last step is reached, live where he will, die when he may, such passate from all plaining, to blessed nirvana with the gods attaining. Here ENDETH Chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita, entitled Sankhya Yoga, or the Book of Doctrines. Chapter 3. Arjuna, thou whom all mortals praise, Janardana, if meditation be a nobler thing than action, wherefore, then, great Kesava, dost thou impel me to this dreadful fight? Now am I by thy doubtful speech disturbed. Tell me one thing, and tell me certainly, by what road shall I find the better end? Krishna, I told thee, blameless Lord, there be two paths shown to this world, two schools of wisdom. First, the Sankhyas, which doth save in way of works, prescribed, FN number 4, by reason. Next, the Yoga, which bids attain by meditation, spiritually. Yet these are one. No man shall escape from act by shunning action, nay, and none shall come by mere renouncements unto perfectness. Nay, and no jot of time, at any time, rests any actionless, his nature's law compels him, even unwilling, into act. For thought is act in fancy. He who sits, suppressing all the instruments of flesh, yet in his idle heart thinking on them, plays the inept and guilty hypocrite. But he who, with strong body serving mind, gives up his mortal powers to worthy work, not seeking gain, Arjuna, such an one is honorable. Do thine allotted task. Work is more excellent than idleness. The body's life proceeds not, lacking work. There is a task of holiness to do. Unlike world-binding toil, which bindeth not the faithful soul, such earthly duty do. Free from desire, and thou shalt well perform thy heavenly purpose. Spake Prajapati. In the beginning, when all men were made, and with mankind, the sacrifice do this work. Sacrifice. Increase and multiply. With sacrifice. This shall be Kamduk, your cow of plenty, giving back her milk of all abundance. Worship the gods thereby. The gods shall yield thee grace. Those meats ye crave, the gods will grant to labor when it pays. Tides in the altar flame. But if one eats fruits of the earth, rendering to kindly heaven no gift of toil that thief steals from his world, who eat of food after their sacrifice are quit of fault, but they that spread a feast all for themselves eat sin and drink of sin. By food the living live, food comes of rain, and rain comes by the pious sacrifice, and sacrifice is paid with tides of toil. Thus action is of Brahma, who is one, the only, all-pervading, at all times, present in sacrifice. He that abstains to help the rolling wheels of this great world, glutting his idle sense, lives a lost life, shameful and vain, existing for himself, self-concentrated, serving self alone. No part hath he in aught, nothing achieved. Not wrought or unwrought toucheth him, no hope of help for all the living things of earth depends from him. FN number 5. Therefore, thy task prescribed, with spirit unattached gladly perform. Since in performance of plain duty man mounts to his highest bliss by works alone. Janak and ancient saints reached blessedness. Moreover, for the upholding of thy kind, action thou shouldst embrace what the wise choose. The unwise people take what best men do. The multitude will follow. Look on me, thou son of Pritha. In the three wide worlds, I am not bound to any toil, no height awaits to scale, no gift remains to gain. Yet I act here, and if I acted not, earnest and watchful those that look to me for guidance, sinking back to sloth again, because I slumbered, would decline from good, and I should break earth's order and commit her offspring unto ruin, Bharat. Even as the unknowing toil, wedded to sense, so let the enlightened toil, sense-freed, but set to bring the world deliverance and its bliss, not sowing in those simple, busy hearts seed of despair. Yea, let each play his part in all he finds to do with unyoked soul. All things are everywhere by nature wrought in interaction of the qualities. The fool, cheated by self, thinks, this I did, and that I wrought, but thou strong-armed prince, a better listened mind, knowing the play of visible things within the world of sense, and how the qualities must qualify, standeth aloof even from his acts, eth untaught, live mixed with them, knowing not nature's way, of highest aims unwitting, slow and dull. Those make thou not to stumble, having the light, with meditation centered inwardly, seeking no profit, satisfied, serene, heedless of issue fight. They who shall keep my ordinance thus, the wise and willing hearts, have quittance from all issue of their acts. But those who disregard my ordinance, thinking they know not, and fall to loss, confused and foolish. Sooth, the instructed one doth of his kind, following what fits him most, and lower creatures of their kind, in vain contending gainst the law. Needs must it be. The objects of the sense will stir the sense to like and dislike, yet enlightened man yields not to these, knowing them enemies. Finally, this is better, that one do his own task as he may, even though he fail, than take tasks not his own, though they seem good. To die performing duty is no ill, but who seeks other roads shall wander still. Arjuna. Yet tell me, teacher, by what force doth man go to his ill, unwilling, as if one pushed him that evil path? Krishna. Kama it is. Passion it is, born of the darknesses, which push at him, mighty of appetite. Sinful and strong is this dash man's enemy. As smoke blots the white fire, as clinging rust mars the bright mirror, as the wound surrounds the babe unborn, so is the world of things. Foiled, soiled, enclosed in this desire of flesh. The wise fall, caught in it, the unresting foe. It is of wisdom, wearing countless forms. Fair but deceitful, subtle as a flame. Sense, mind, and reason these, O Kunti's son, are booty for it in its play with these. It maddens man, beguiling, blinding him. Therefore, thou noblest child of Bharat, govern thy heart. Constrain eth entangled sense. Resist the false, soft sinfulness which saps knowledge and judgment. Yea, the world is strong. But what discerns it stronger, and the mind strongest and high o'er all the ruling soul? Wherefore, perceiving him who reigns supreme, put forth full force of soul in thy own soul. Fight. Vanquish foes and doubts, dear hero. Slay what haunts thee in fond shapes, and would betray. Here ENDETH Chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita, entitled Karma Yoga, or the Book of Virtue in Work. Chapter 4. Krishna. This deathless yoga, this deep union, I taught Vivaswata, FN number 6, the Lord of Light. Vivaswata to Manu gave it, he. To Ikshvaku, so passed it down the line of all my royal rishis. Then, with years, the truth grew dim and perished, noble prince. Now once again to thee it is declared, this ancient lore, this mystery supreme. Seeing I find thee votary and friend. Arjuna, thy birth, dear Lord, was in these later days, and bright Vivaswata's preceded time. How shall I comprehend this thing thou sayest? From the beginning it was I who taught. Krishna, manifold the renewals of my birth have been, Arjuna, and of thy births too. But mine I know, and thine thou knowest not. O slayer of thy foes, albeit I be unborn, undying, indestructible, the Lord of all things living, not the less. By Maya, by my magic which I stamp on floating nature forms, the primal vast, I come and go and come. When righteousness declines, O Bharat, when wickedness is strong, I rise from age to age and take visible shape and move a man with men, succoring the good, thrusting the evil back, and setting virtue on her seat again. Who knows the truth touching my births on earth, and my divine work, when he quits the flesh, puts on its load no more, falls no more down. To earthly birth, to me he comes, dear prince. Many there be who come from fear set free, from anger, from desire, keeping their hearts fixed upon me, my faithful purified by sacred flame of knowledge. Such as these mix with my being. Whoso worship me, them I exalt, but all men everywhere shall fall into my path, albeit those souls which seek reward for works, make sacrifice. Now, to the lower gods, I say to thee, here have they their reward. But I am he, made the four castes, and portioned them a place, after their qualities and gifts. Yea, I created the reposeful, I that live, immortally made all those mortal births. For works soil not my essence, being works wrought uninvolved. Who knows me acting thus? Unchained by action, action binds not him. And, so perceiving, all those saints of old worked, seeking for deliverance. Work thou, as, in the days gone by, thy fathers did. Thou sayest, perplexed, it hath been asked before, by singers and by sages, what is act, and what inaction? I will teach thee this. And, knowing, thou shalt learn which work doth save. Needs must one rightly meditate those three. Doing, dash, not doing, dash, and undoing. Here, thorny and dark the path is. He who sees how action may be rest action he is wisest mid his kind, he hath the truth. He doeth well, acting or resting. freed. In all his works from prickings of desire. Burned clean in act by the white fire of truth. The wise call that man wise, and such an one. Renouncing fruit of deeds, always content. Always self-satisfying, if he works. Doth nothing that shall stain his separate soul. Which quit of fear and hope subduing self. Rejecting outward impulse yielding up. To body's need nothing save body dwells. Sinless amid all sin, with equal calm. Taking what may befall, by grief unmoved. Unmoved by joy, unenvyingly the same. In good and evil fortunes, no wise bound. By bond of deeds. Nay, but of such an one. Whose crave is gone, whose soul is liberate. Whose heart is set on truth of such an one. What work he does is work of sacrifice. Which passate purely into ash and smoke. Consumed upon the altar. All's then God. The sacrifice is Brahm, the ghee and grain. Our Brahm, the fire is Brahm, the flesh it eats. Is Brahm, and unto Brahm attaneth he. Who, in such office, meditates on Brahm. Some votaries there be who serve the gods. With flesh and altar smoke, but other some. Who, lighting subtler fires, make purer right. With will of worship. Of the which be they. Who, in white flame of continence, consume. Joys of the sense, delights of eye and ear. Foregoing tender speech and sound of song. And they who, kindling fires with torch of truth, burn on a hidden altar stone the bliss of youth and love, renouncing happiness. And they who lay for offering their wealth, their penance, meditation, piety, their steadfast reading of the scrolls, their lore, painfully gained with long austerities. And they who, making silent sacrifice, draw in their breath to feed the flame of thought, and breathe it forth to waft the heart on high, governing the vintage of each entering air, lest one sigh pass which helpeth not the soul. And they who, day by day denying needs, lay life itself upon the altar flame, burning the body when, lo, all these keep the right of offering as if they slew victims, and all thereby efface much sin. Yea, and who feed on the immortal food, left of such sacrifice, to Brahma pass, to the unending. But for him that makes no sacrifice, he hath nor part nor lot, even in the present world. How should he share another, O thou glory of thy line? In sight of Brahma all these offerings are spread and are accepted. Comprehend that all proceed by act, for knowing this, thou shalt be quit of doubt. The sacrifice which knowledge pays is better than great gifts offered by wealth, since gifts worth, O my prince, lies in the mind which gives, the will that serves. And these are gained by reverence, by strong search, by humble heed of those who see the truth, and teach it. Knowing truth, thy heart no more will ache with error, for the truth shall show all things subdued to thee, as thou to me. Moreover, son of Pandu, wert thou worst of all wrongdoers, this fair ship of truth should bear thee safe and dry across the sea of thy transgressions, as the kindled flame feeds on the fuel till it sinks to ash. So unto ash, Arjuna, unto naught. The flame of knowledge wastes works draws away. There is no purifier like thereto in all this world, and he who seeketh it shall find it, being grown perfect in himself. Believing, he receives it when the soul masters itself and cleaves to truth, and comes possessing knowledge to the higher peace, the uttermost repose. But those untaught, and those without full faith, and those who fear, are shent. No peace is here or other where, no hope, nor happiness for whoso doubts. He that, being self-contained, hath vanquished doubt, disparting self from service, soul from works, enlightened and emancipate, my prince. Works fetter him no more. Cut then atwain with sword of wisdom, son of Bharat, this doubt that binds thy heartbeats. Cleave the bond born of thy ignorance. Be bold and wise. Give thyself to the field with me. Arise. Here ENDETH Chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita, entitled Janana Yoga, or the Book of the Religion of Knowledge. Chapter 5. Arjuna. Yet, Krishna, at the one time thou dost Lord, surcease of works, and, at another time, service through work. Of these twain plainly tell, which is the better way? Krishna. To cease from works is well, and to do works in holiness is well, and both conduct to bliss supreme. But of these twain the better way is his, who working piously refraineth not. That is the true renouncer, firm and fixed, who seeking not, rejecting not wells proof against the opposites. FN number 8, O valiant prince. In doing, such breaks lightly from all deed. 'Tis the new scholar talks as they were two. This Sankhya and this Yoga, wise men know. Who husbands one plucks golden fruit of both. The region of high rest which Sankhyans reach, Yogins attain. Who sees these twain as one, sees with clear eyes. Yet such abstraction, chief, is hard to win without much holiness. Whoso is fixed in holiness, self-ruled, pure-hearted, lord of senses and of self, lost in the common life of all which lives. A Yogayukta - he is a saint who wends straightway to Brahm. Such an one is not touched by taint of deeds. Not of myself I do. Thus will he think who holds the truth of truths. In seeing, hearing, touching, smelling when he eats, or goes, or breathes, slumbers or talks, holds fast or loosens, opes his eyes or shuts, always assured this is the sense world place. With senses, he that acts in thought of Brahm, detaching end from act, with act content. The world of sense can no more stain his soul than waters mar et enamelled lotus leaf. With life, with heart, with mind, nay, with the help of all five senses letting selfhood go, Yogins toil ever towards their soul's release. Such votaries, renouncing fruit of deeds, gain endless peace, the unvowed, the passion-bound, seeking a fruit from works, are fastened down. The embodied sage, withdrawn within his soul, at every act sits godlike in the town, which hath 9 gateways, FN number 9, neither doing aught, nor causing any deed. This world's Lord makes neither the work, nor passion for the work, nor lust for fruit of work, the man's own self pushes to these. The master of this world takes on himself the good or evil deeds of no man dwelling beyond. Mankind errs here by folly, darkening knowledge. But for whom that darkness of the soul is chased by light, splendid and clear shines manifest the truth, as if a sun of wisdom sprang to shed its beams of dawn. Him meditating still is hard to win without much holiness. Whoso is fixed in holiness, self-ruled, pure-hearted, lord of senses and of self, lost in the common life of all which lives. A Yogayukta - he is a saint who wends straightway to Brahm. Such an one is not touched by taint of deeds. Not of myself I do. Thus will he think who holds the truth of truths. In seeing, hearing, touching, smelling when he eats, or goes, or breathes, slumbers or talks, holds fast or loosens, opes his eyes or shuts, always assured this is the sense world place. With senses, he that acts in thought of Brahm, detaching end from act, with act content. The world of sense can no more stain his soul than waters mar et enamelled lotus leaf. With life, with heart, with mind, nay, with the help of all five senses letting selfhood go, Yogins toil ever towards their soul's release. Such votaries, renouncing fruit of deeds, gain endless peace, the unvowed, the passion-bound, seeking a fruit from works, are fastened down. The embodied sage, withdrawn within his soul, at every act sits godlike in the town, which hath 9 gateways, FN number 9, neither doing aught, nor causing any deed. This world's Lord makes neither the work, nor passion for the work, nor lust for fruit of work, the man's own self pushes to these. The master of this world takes on himself the good or evil deeds of no man dwelling beyond. Mankind errs here by folly darkening knowledge. But for whom that darkness of the soul is chased by light, splendid and clear shines manifest the truth, as if a sun of wisdom sprang to shed its beams of dawn. Him meditating still, him seeking, with him blended, stayed on him. The souls illuminated take that road, which hath no turning back there since flung off by strength of faith. Who will may have this light? Who hath it ceased not? To him who wisely sees the Brahman with his scrolls and sanctities, the cow, the elephant, the unclean dog, the outcast gorging dog's meat, are all one. The world is overcome, even here, by such as fix their faith on unity. The sinless Brahma dwells in unity, and they in Brahma. Be not overglad, attaining joy, and be not oversad, encountering grief, but stayed on Brahma still. Constant let each abide. The sage whose soul holds off from outer contacts in himself finds bliss, to Brahma joined by piety. His spirit tastes eternal peace. The joys springing from sense life are but quickening wombs, which breed sure griefs. Those joys begin and end. The wise mind takes no pleasure, Kunti's son, in such as those. But if a man shall learn, even while he lives and bears his body's chain, to master lust and anger, he is blessed. He is the yukta, he hath happiness. Contentment, light, within, his life is merged. In Brahma's life, he doth nirvana touch. Thus go the rishis unto rest, who dwell with sins effaced, with doubts at end, with hearts governed and calm. Glad in all good they live, nigh to the peace of God, and all those live who pass their days exempt from greed and wrath, subduing self and senses, knowing the soul. The saint who shuts outside his placid soul all touch of sense, letting no contact through, whose quiet eyes gaze straight from fixed brows, whose outward breath and inward breath are drawn equal and slow through nostrils still and close. That one with organs, heart, and mind constrained, bent on deliverance, having put away passion and fear and rage, hath even now obtained deliverance, ever and ever freed. Yea, for he knows me who am he that heeds the sacrifice and worship, God revealed. And he who heeds not, being Lord of worlds, lover of all that lives, God unrevealed. Wherein who will shall find surety and shield. Here ends chapter 5 of the Bhagavad Gita, entitled Karmasanyasa Yoga, or the Book of Religion by Renouncing Fruit of Works. Chapter 6. Krishna. Therefore, who doeth work rightful to do, not seeking gain from work, that man, O Prince, is sannyasi and yogi both in one. And he is neither who lights not the flame of sacrifice, nor sateth hand to task. Regard as true renouncer him that makes worship by work, for who renounceth not, works not as you gain. So is that well said. By works the votary doth rise to faith, and saintship is the ceasing from all works. Because the perfect yogin acts but acts, unmoved by passions and unbound by deeds. Setting result aside, let each man raise the self by soul, not trample down his self. Since soul that is self's friend may grow self's foe. Soul is self's friend when self doth rule o'er self. But self turns enemy if soul's own self hates self as not itself. FN number 10. The sovereign soul of him who lives self-governed and at peace is centered in itself, taking alike pleasure and pain, heat, cold, glory and shame. He is the yogi, he is yukta, glad, with joy of light and truth, dwelling apart upon a peak, with senses subjugate, where to the clod, the rock, the glistering gold show all as one. By this sign is he known, being of equal grace to comrades, friends, chance-comers, strangers, lovers, enemies, aliens and kinsmen, loving all alike, evil or good, steadfastly meditating, solitary. His thoughts controlled, his passions laid away. Quit of belongings. In a fair, still spot. Having his fixed abode, not too much raised. Nor yet too low, let him abide, his goods. A cloth, a deer skin, and the kushagrass. There, setting hard his mind upon the one. Restraining heart and senses, silent, calm. Let him accomplish yoga and achieve. Pureness of soul, holding immovable. Body and neck and head, his gaze absorbed. Upon his nose end, Krishna. He is not lost, thou son of Pritha. No. Nor earth, nor heaven is forfeit, even for him. Because no heart that holds one right desire treadeth the road of loss. He who should fail, desiring righteousness, cometh at death. Unto the region of the just dwells there. Measureless years, and being born anew, beginneth life again in some fair home. Amid the mild and happy, it may chance, he doth descend into a yogin house. On virtue's breast, but that is rare. Such birth is hard to be obtained on this earth, chief. So hath he back again what heights of heart he did achieve, and so he strives anew to perfectness, with better hope, dear prince. For by the old desire he is drawn on, unwittingly and only to desire. The purity of yoga is to pass beyond the Sabdabraham, the spoken Ved. But, being yogi, striving strong and long, purged from transgressions, perfected by births. Following on births, he plants his feet at last upon the farther path, such as one ranks above ascetics, higher than the wise, beyond achievers of vast deeds. Be thou, Yogi Arjuna, and of such believe. Truest and best is he who worships me with inmost soul, stayed on my mystery. Here ENDETH Chapter 6 of the Bhagavad Gita, entitled Atmasanyam Yoga, or the Book of Religion by Self-Restraint. Chapter 7. Krishna. Learn now, dear prince, how, if thy soul be set ever on me, still exercising yoga, still making me thy refuge, thou shalt come most surely unto perfect hold of me. I will declare to thee that utmost lore, whole and particular, which, when thou knowest, leaveth no more to know here in this world. Of many thousand mortals, one, perchance, striveth for truth, and of those few that strive, nay, and rise heaven only here and there, knoweth me, as I am, the very truth. Earth, water, flame, air, ether, life, and mind, and individuality, those 8, make up the showing of me manifest. These be my lower nature, learn the higher, whereby, thou valiant one, this universe is, by its principle of life, produced, whereby the worlds of visible things are born, as from a yoni. No, I am that womb. I make and I unmake this universe. Than me there is no other master, prince, no other maker. All these hang on me, as hangs a row of pearls upon its string. I am the fresh taste of the water, I, the silver of the moon, the gold o' the sun, the word of worship in the Veds, the thrill that pulsate in the ether, and the strength of man's shed seed. I am the good sweet smell of the moistened earth. I am the fire's red light, the vital air moving in all which moves, the holiness of hallowed souls, the root undying, whence hath sprung whatever is, the wisdom of the wise, the intellect of the informed, the greatness of the great, the splendor of the splendid, Kunti's son. These am I, free from passion and desire. Yet am I right desire in all who yearn. Chief of the Bharats, for all those moods, soothfast, or passionate, or ignorant, which nature frames, deduce from me, but all are merged in me, not I in them. The world, deceived by those 3 qualities of being, wotteth not me who am outside them all, above them all, eternal. Hard it is to pierce that veil divine of various shows, which hideth me, yet they who worship me pierce it and pass beyond. I am not known to evildoers, nor to foolish ones. nor to the base and churlish, nor to those whose mind is cheated by the show of things, nor those that take the way of asuras. 4 sorts of mortals know me, he who weeps, Arjuna, and the man who yearns to know, and he who toils to help, and he who sits certain of me, enlightened. Of these 4, O Prince of India, highest, nearest, best, that last is the devout soul, wise, intent upon the One. Dear, above all, am I to him, and he is dearest unto me. All 4 are good, and seek me, but mine own. The true of heart, the faithful stayed on me, taking me as their utmost blessedness. They are not mine, but even I myself. At end of many births to me they come. Yet hard the wise Mahatma is to find. That man who saith, all is Vasudev. FN number 13. There be those, too, whose knowledge, turned aside by this desire or that, gives them to serve some lower gods, with various rites, constrained by that which moulded them. Unto all such, worship what shrine they will, what shapes, in faith. 'Tis I who give them faith. I am content. The heart thus asking favor from its God, darkened but ardent, hath the end it craves. The lesser blessing but 'tis I who give. Yet soon is withered what small fruit they reap. Those men of little minds, who worship so, go where they worship, passing with their gods. But mine come unto me. Blind are the eyes, which deemeth unmanifested manifest, not comprehending me in my true self. Imperishable, viewless, undeclared, hidden behind my magic veil of shows. I am not seen by all, I am not known, unborn and changeless to the idle world. But I, Arjuna, know all things which were, and all which are, and all which are to be. Albeit not one among them knoweth me. By passion for the pairs of opposites, by those twain snares of like and dislike, Prince, all creatures live bewildered, save some few, who, quit of sins, wholly in act informed, freed from the opposites, and fixed in faith, cleave unto me. Who seek in me refuge from birth, FN number 14, and death, those have the truth. Those know me Brahma, know me soul of souls. The Adhyatman know karma, my work. Know I am Adhibhuta, Lord of life, and Adhideva, Lord of all the gods, and Adhyajana, Lord of sacrifice. Worship me well, with hearts of love and faith, and find and hold me in the hour of death. End.